What up, B? I'm Leon, the Paperback Maniac, coming at you on the cool, cloudy night of Saturday, March 23rd, 2019, with a mega retro horror haul. Well, I've got something like 21 books. I think that's pretty mega for one day. It's mega awesome, is what it is. So we're going to just dive right in. The first few books that I'm going to show you, I picked up from Book Junction in Huntington Beach. A great little shop, but one that I don't go to very frequently just because the dude who runs it has such odd hours. They're closed most days of the week now, but they are open Saturday mornings, and lucky for me, I did stop by today and got a few gems, so we'll start with those. First one we're taking a look at is The Occults Madonna by Douglas D. Hawke. This book was published by Guild Press. I swear I have never heard of that imprint. I don't know if that's, I don't know. Came out in 1988, but really striking cover art there. I love that. You can tell that these guys didn't have a whole lot of money, but they did kind of go all out there with that cover design. I think even the title is painted, the lettering, but really, really cool. I was shocked to find this in such good condition as well. But yeah, book I've never heard of from an imprint I've never heard of. Couldn't resist. Who doesn't love that trashy late 80s, low rent horror? So it's that. And then this one looks very similar. We've got next Eye of the Devil by Terrence J. Kumaras. And this one was put out by Critics' Choice. That is an imprint I have heard of. And this came out the following year, 1989. Yeah, that looks pretty badass as well, I've got to admit. Yeah, I could not resist those two. Next up, this is one that I was super pumped to find. I wasn't sure if I already owned this. I could already own this. I know I have Headhunter by the same author. We've got Ghoul by Michael Slade. And I love that cover. I love that with the vinyl and the eye kind of coming out. This was published by Signet. I thought it was an Onyx title, but apparently because it's kind of like on the thriller lines, it was put out it was under Signet, and it came out in 1989. I've heard a lot of great things about this novel. Michael Slade was the pen name of some, I think they were like Canadian lawyers or something, but who were obviously huge horror fans, and they published some really renowned splatter novels in the 80s. I know Sean Hudson's a big fan of Michael Slade, and this novel in particular I had been curious about ever since I read a review in Fango's old Nightmare Library, a back issue like from the 80s. And in the review, the writer said that Ghoul was the best splatterpunk novel of the 80s. So of course, when I read that, I was very, very intrigued, and it sounds amazing. Just look at this, like on the kind of blurb page. Look what it says. The most hideously butchered corpses the police had ever seen. A grisly rock group that had rocketed to the top of the horror charts. A gorgeous, sadistic, sexually ravenous heiress. And a creature that called the sewers home and the world its hunting ground. That and this cover and rave reviews from Fango, yeah, I was sold on this. So yeah, really happy to have Ghoul, if I didn't have it already. Okay, next up, a book I did have, but I did not have this edition. We've got The Dark by James Herbert. And I was surprised to find this because this is the New English Library UK edition, which you don't often see in shops here in the US. This book came out in 1980, and this is one of the few books that I feel like the US edition is much superior. This is a pretty sort of humdrum, ho-hum, and just pretty lame cover, if I may say so. Compare that to the Signet edition from the US. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, right? That's amazing. But yeah, one of the rare instances where I think the UK was off was a little off there, and the U.S. actually had a better cover, which is certainly not always the case. All right, next up, the next two books kind of have like a similar theme here. We've got The Unborn first. This one was written by David Shobin, and it was published by Bantam. This Bantam paperback came out in '82. Looks like it was first published in 1981. So, yeah, I'm not too familiar with this one. And then the next book in that theme is The Baby. And this one was published, or it was written by Stephanie Keegan, and it was published by Charter Diamond in 1990. So The Unborn and The Baby. Yeah, just could not resist. Could be crap, but, you know. Okay, next up, this is a book. We've got Night Music by Sheila Bristow Garner. This one was published by Pinnacle in 1992. First saw this book on Cameron Chaney's channel. I think he showed it in a haul. And yeah, I'm a big fan of the Pinnacle line. So, you know, when I saw this, I was like, yes, awesome. Definitely check it out. And the last book I got from Book Junction in Huntington Beach is Possession by Peter James, a UK writer. This one was put out by Dell in 1988. Yes, I know that cover makes this look like some crappy romance thriller, but I think actually this is pretty cool little occult horror novel. Peter James definitely is a good writer, so it's definitely well written. And yeah, I think it sounds pretty interesting. So happy to check it out. I've shown a couple of other Peter James books on this channel before. Okay, so after my round at Book Junction in Huntington Beach, I headed up north to downtown LA, and I went to the Last Bookstore, which is an awesome bookstore. Anyone who is ever in the LA area, you guys need to go to this bookstore. They actually don't have an amazing horror selection. I mean, they've got this whole like horror vault room. I mean, they don't really have great like awesome titles like some of these other places, but the store itself is just fantastic. The design of it is super cool. People, you know, take pictures all the time there. So it's definitely worth checking out just for that, because the site alone is cool. I only found 3 titles there, 2 of which I already own. But this first one I was pretty happy to find. So we've got Second Chance by Chet Williamson. And this book was published by Leisure. This edition, this is the first paperback edition. It came out in 2002. But it was first published in limited edition hardcover, possibly by Cemetery Dance. I don't remember exactly, but the hardcover came out in 1995. This looks really cool. It sounds like just like some awesome, like time-traveling, epic kind of adventure horror. Yeah, this is the kind of thing I'd rather get lost in a book like this than like some like kind of endless like Netflix series, which takes forever. Yeah, this looks really cool. All right, and then the next 2, we got a couple of Tor titles, which I've owned in the past. I actually own a copy. This one, though, it was in such good condition. It's Cat Magic by Whitley Strieber. And this was put out by Tor in 1986. Always been such a fan of that cover. Really love that. Yeah, this is when I saw this in just like almost immaculate condition with an unbroken spine, I just had to get it. You know, $250, can't resist. But yeah, this looks like a pretty fun, another fun epic book to just get lost in. And then the last one I got there at the Last Bookstore is Gabriel by Lisa Tuttle, and this was published by Tor in 1988. And I've been curious to read this book for a while now. I am a big fan of Lisa Tuttle's, I believe, first novel, Familiar Spirit. I thought that was a really fun book. You know, not a perfect book, but a solid, 4 out of 5. Really entertaining. And I've heard good things about this one too. You know, this one seems a little like icky, but But yeah, it seems like a good time and really cool, 80s cover. Love the purple. Okay, and then the third place that I went, of course, when I'm up in LA, I can't not go to the Iliad in NoHo, North Hollywood. Just an amazing place that I don't think I've ever walked out of there with like under 5 or 6 books. Got a couple more than that here today. So we're just gonna start strong. We're gonna start strong and end strong. So the first one that I came across, I'm not gonna lie and say I was familiar with this book. We've got The Ripper by William Dobson. And this book was published by Signet. Of course, it's just got that characteristic, amazing cover art that Signet always did. This one was put out in 1981, which, makes sense. Just I love the blurred arm holding the knife, as if there were any question that that knife is going to end up in the woman's solar plexus. That is just amazing, just so tawdry, so trashy looking. That's just great. But yeah, I mean, who could resist some good old early 80s slasher horror like this? I mean, just incredible. Okay, the next one, this may end up becoming like the best discovery of today, of this whole haul. This one looks really intriguing to me. Another book I was not familiar with until I looked it up. This is The Whipping Boy by Beth Holmes, and it was put out by Jove in 1979. It's got a pretty simple yet striking cover there. And then there is this step back cover art, which is quite intriguing and lovely. But yeah, this one, I was not familiar with it. I looked it up. It does have some pretty good reviews, I believe, and it sounds really intriguing. There's something about the like late 70s horror novels. They were written, I think, very, very well, just in general. I think much better than the 80s horror and 90s horror. And this one, I've said it over and over again. I love kind of adolescent horror, and especially horror with creepy and evil children. This kind of falls under that line, although it deals with sort of like adolescent abuse and a kid apparently who has been abused psychologically and maybe in other ways, and just kind of becomes like sadistic because of that. And I think that sounds really gnarly and interesting. So it's pretty thick book. Yeah, really intrigued and kind of interested and excited to check this one out. Okay, next up, continuing with the 70s thing, we've got The Deadly Election by Mort Castle. This book was published by Major Books, another publisher I'm unfamiliar with. Came out in 1976. I love that kind of old-timey 1970s cover art there. Yeah, Mort Castle did, go on to publish kind of more, let's say, paperback mania type books in the 80s. I've shown some of his books in the past. This just looked really cool, and I couldn't resist when I saw it. Okay, next up, we've got a couple of Del Abyss books. The first one, super pumped when I saw this. This is Tunnel Vision by R. Patrick Gates. This was published by Del Abyss in 1991. I recently read R. Patrick Gates' novel Grim Memorials. It ended up being like one of my favorite books that I read last year. This one here is his follow-up, the book he wrote, published the following year. And yeah, I'm gonna read everything that R. Patrick Gates published. He's just such a fun writer. I mean, between Fear and Grim Memorials, this guy has got me on his side. So yeah, this one seems really intriguing. It almost feels like it seems like a Skip Inspector type book. And I know it's got Skip Inspector levels of splatter because R. Patrick Gates was not one to hold back. And I greatly admire that and appreciate it. So yeah, was super pumped to see this in such good condition. And then the other one, this is a Del Abyss I'm not familiar with. This is Dead in the Water by Nancy Holder, and this one was published in 1994. I believe this one also I found is signed. Yeah, there's a personal inscription there. Pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. I frequently come across Del Abyss books that I'm not familiar with. I don't know. I guess that's because I never really took the time to investigate them and just look up everything that they published. I kind of like that because now I can just find them here and there, ones that I'm just don't know. So it's kind of cool to just be periodically picking up these Del Abyss books. They were a very interesting imprint. They published some really interesting stuff. This one sounded really cool. Sounds like a cool idea, and would be a great book to read, especially on vacation, I feel like. So yeah, Dead in the Water looks cool. Okay, next up, this is another book that I just never heard of, was not familiar with. This is A Different Darkness by Jean DeWeese. This was published by Playboy Horror Occult, as it says there on the spine. I absolutely love it when it has the subgenre on the spine. And this one was published in 1982. I mean, who could resist a gargoyle like that on the front cover? I mean, that's just so awesome. Yeah, I saw this. I got very happy. So, yeah, who knows? I'm not familiar with this one, but, I mean, the cover alone sells it, right? And the fact that it's Playboy Occult. Okay, next up, we've got Vampire Child by Ruby Jean Jensen. This book was published by Zebra in 1990. I have not yet read Ruby Jean Jensen. I have a few of her books. I understand that her books are becoming frequently or increasingly kind of rarer and harder to find, certainly out in the wild. So, when I saw this one in pretty amazing condition, I, hopped on it. It actually does sound kind of fun and in that, typically trashy Zebra way. So, yeah, I was happy to pick it up. And then the other Zebra book, I believe this was published the same year. We've got Blood Wings by Stephen Gresham. Yeah, this one was also put out by Zebra in 1990. I do love that cover, although, I mean, look at the kid's expression. You would think that, being enfolded like that by that demon thing, I mean, can you say that a kid who's posing for a picture is a bad actor? I mean, that's just bad acting, right? It's just a shitty expression. But I do love that. It adds to the charm of the cover. Yeah, I have a few Stephen Gresham books. I think Zebra books. He published a few books with Zebra back in the day. Was not familiar with this one, so when I saw it, I was like, okay, cool. I will definitely check that out. Okay, got two more here. The next one is Night World by Robert Bloch, legendary Robert Bloch, author of Psycho, of course. This book was published by Fawcett Crest. It's one of those classic Fawcett covers. I made a Fawcett gold medal video not too long ago, a collection of those books. This one came out in 1973, and yeah, looks pretty cool. I don't know, I guess I've kind of been on the 70s kick lately when I see these cool 70s editions. I mean, I'm just, picking them up because why not, right? All right, guys, and finally, the last one of this haul. I told you guys I was going to end strong. When I saw this thing, another book I just was not familiar with. This is The Silverleaf Syndrome by Eleanor Robinson. This book was published by Tower in 1980. Just read the tagline there at the top. I mean, just that sounds so amazing to me. And that cover is just fantastic. Love that. It's just amazing 70s artwork. Yeah, when I saw this thing, another book that not familiar with, but that is why I love the hunt. That's why I love to walk into these shops and peruse the aisles and just, make these discoveries. It's very, very satisfying when I can pick up something like this that just feels like it's been lost to time, right? I mean, people are not talking about books like this. I don't know. I didn't look this one up. I mean, it could have like a shit ton of reviews and be very popular, but I didn't know about it, and I love it. I love finding stuff like that. So yeah, the Silverleaf Syndrome. We're gonna end on that one. So yeah, that was it, guys. Hope you had fun. That was my little horror haul for Saturday, March 25th, 2019. I like to say the dates now because who knows? You could be watching this video long time from now and see that date and be like, oh wow, those are the books that I found on that date. It's kind of cool. Hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. Stick back, check back soon for, of course, reviews and collection videos and all that crap. And I will see you guys later.